Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be talking about the team makeup for going into the Leo Cup, as one thing I've seen a lot of questions people have is they don't know what to use for their third or even second ace going into this. Maybe you know what you're like, this is the Uma that I want to win this Champions meeting is going to be, but you don't know what to do with your second and third Uma. And so that's what I want to kind of do this video about, because I've seen a lot of questions on it. I've seen it in Discord, I've seen it on comments. And so that's what we're going to talk about here, because there's a lot of things that come into making those decisions that some people may not actually think about. The first to kind of get started with it, we'll kind of take a look at my team and my thoughts around why I selected the current aces I am and how they're going to benefit me in some ways, but also some of the drawbacks, because like I've mentioned this on stream a lot, this Champions meeting and just Champions meetings in general are a big game of rock, paper, scissors. If you have equally strong Umas compared to your opponents, then it comes to like a rock, paper, scissors on who has the best combo of strategies against the others. And you'll be able to see that when we look at the current Umas I have built. So I've kind of juggled around different combinations, and I have settled on going with the 2 front runner and 1 pace chaser combo. And that is going to be having my Summer Maruzensky, a Seiyun Sky, and an Ogre Cap. Now, I had originally had the idea of going with the Gamble frontrunner, where I throw just 1 frontrunner, 1 late surger, and 1 end closer, the late surger being a Dominator late surger to help slow down the pace chasers, and then an end closer that can, if my frontrunner fails, can then try and take the win by getting in the 6th and passing. But with my current strategy, I think this one, from what I've seen, is a lot of the scrims I've done have been heavy on the pace chaser / frontrunner side. And so what going with this combo does is it kind of acts like a nerf to your late surgers and end closers. So it makes the main threats to me front runners and pace chasers. The reason is that I'm taking up 3 slots. First, I'm taking up 3 slots in the front because I have 2 front runners and 1 pace chaser. Your end closers and late surgers want to be in 6th place to get Let's Pump Off, and then when they get Let's Pump Off, they get into 5th. And they get the red line and then or Tyke shuttle shooting for victory, and then they take off and hopefully overtake everyone and win. By me taking up 3 of the front slots in Champions meetings where it seems like pace chasers are kind of the most popular just because they have the most recovery skills. And I will say, people are still doing just like Cancer Cup in the scrims, where they're taking way more stamina than they need and way more recovery skills, which pace chasers have the most of. So in one that's going to be pace chaser heavy, all I need is my opponents to bring a combo of 3 front runners or pace chasers, and now we take up the front 6 places. By taking up the front 6 places, it's going to be much harder for your end closers and late surgers to get that 6th place and get Let's Pump Off. And I've noticed that even when I was testing with the other combo, which was originally going to be a Summer Maruzensky, I had a Symboli Rudolph Dominator, and then I had my gold ship, a gold ship end closer, and she very rarely was able to get in the 6th place just because there was not enough for her to pass. Now this may be a little bit different going in the Champions meetings, because these scrims I've noticed are not, to a certain extent, not as debuff heavy as I've seen in the past. The more casuals may be more debuff heavy, which will make them stronger, but it pretty much neutered my gold ship. My gold ship almost never was in position to take off and win. And so what this combo really does is it makes the biggest weakness to this one is a strong Ogre Cap or another strong pace chaser, because they're the ones that are going to be able to overtake me and win beat my front runner. But with my strategy, my front runner is already crazy strong. For anyone who's been watching me now, I've been working on forever to get a good Summer Maruzensky, which I finally got today, where I actually got lucky enough to get the Acupuncture event and get the 2 free white corner recovery and straightaway recoveries with no skill points, and got the medium S and the stats. So I'm actually done building her. So by her being super strong and her only real competitor being a strong pace chaser, which I've tested against my Ogre Cap and she still beats her pretty much every time, and by me neutering the late surgers and the end closers by taking up 3 places and hopefully preventing them from getting Let's Pump Some Iron, it's going to make this team very, very strong. Now, like I said, this is rock, paper, scissors. My biggest weakness is going to be somebody that has a strong pace chaser. For example, an Ogre Cap like this, as well as going like maybe a Dominator builds. Maybe they go 2 Dominator, which I've seen the 2 Dominator, a Rudolph and maybe an Agnes Tachyon. You get both of them, and they're going to obliterate my speed going into the late race, and then that Ogre Cap has a very good shot of overtaking me much easier than my own, because my Ogre Cap struggles. Like, rarely, she'll get close to, but I've not seen her actually pass this Maruzensky yet, if she's in first place. If you had Dominators that slowed her down and not her, I think my Ogre Cap would be able to pass in those scenarios. And so that's like the main weakness, but I don't see it as heavily in the scrim, so I think this is my strongest option. Now, if you're not running frontrunners, this is not going to be the best strategy for you. And I just kind of gave you what could be a potential strategy, which is the very strong Pace Chaser, like an Ogre Cap. Tyke Shuttle's also another very, very good one because she just has Shooting for Victory built in. She's going to be a little bit harder to build, but if you have the special week speed card from when the game launched, you can get Gormand and then Swinging Maestro. You can build a Tyke Shuttle. She has everything here built in, or she has Shooting for Victory built in. Then all you do is use a Maruzensky parent, or you don't even really need it because her ult by itself is good enough. And then just load her up with some mid-leg skills that position her very well. Either that, or you can use any Pace Chaser. You just need to make sure you have Red Shift and Shooting for Victory. That's like the biggest things. And you have Dominators in the back. Symbol Rudolph. Now, this is just like my first attempt at making one. I kind of just haven't really made another attempt on it because I kind of moved away from this idea. But you can make a very strong Symbol Rudolph. All you need really is Dominator. Definitely want a lot higher width than I was able to get here. Definitely want to also get Let's Pump Some Iron. I did not use a Majiro Ryan when I built her. Let's Pump Some Iron, so she can win. I've seen my Symbol Rudolph win in some of my races. And you have this. You maybe have another one. You maybe have an end closer, like a gold ship or something, that can also get into 6th place. And now you're covering all bases in the fact that your Dominator is going to hopefully slow down those front runners. Your Pace Chaser is going to be able to overtake them because of the domination on it. But then you also have your end closer as another backup if they're able to get in placement, because maybe it's a heavier end closer, or maybe it's a heavy debuff room where you have like two nice natures, or 2 nice natures and a my own top gun, so your Pace Chaser is going to die. Now your gold ship can come in. She's going to easily blow by the debuffers in most cases. She'll get past them, easily get into 6th place, and then she can take off and take the win, while your Dominator is still going to be slowing down the front runners to give your gold ship the chance to pass. So you have that kind of strategy. So those are the kind of things that you need to think about when it comes to your placements, is depending on the rooms you run into where everybody's going to be placed. And that's why I'm saying, like, I really didn't like the double front runner combo with an end closer, which I was originally doing at one time, which was the Saiyan Sky, Maruzensky, and my gold chip, because my gold chip never was getting in the 6th. It was like never happening. It needed to be a very heavy end closer room, but it seemed like most times I had another 1 or 2 front runners and another 2 Pace Chasers or so, and then 6th place was unattainable, and she just never was able to catch up. She had to wait. Basically, gold ship was taking off late because she didn't get into 6th place until the front runners that were in the back completely fell off behind her because they didn't get acceleration at all. And that's just way too late, and she never catches up and wins. And so that's one I would not do. I would not do the double front runner and a end closer. I could see late surger debuffer doing a Dominator to try and slow down the Pace Chasers, but definitely not an end closer ace to pair with them because it just didn't seem to work. But that's kind of the thought. Some things you just need to think about in it. There's all kinds of different combos you can have. You just got to try and think of what's potential my competition going to be. And when it comes to this too, I've had people ask questions as well, just kind of add to it on building your teams as well when it comes to stamina, because I think people are really scared of the quad debuffers on this, because you can have the Mayano Top Gun and the Nice Natures. And I can say that I have successfully won against 4 of them where barely died. They do die. I mean, they're going to run a stamina because I do run a little bit lower, but you can win with these lower stamina amounts. This Summer Ruzensky can withstand 2 and even 3 debuffers if she gets hammered by them, like worst case scenario. She will die at the very end, but most of the time she's so far ahead that she still wins. You got to think. if an Ogre Cap is also going to pass you, potentially, a lot of cases, she's also getting hammered by these debuffs as well. And so she could die just as easily. So now she's only going to be getting hammered by 2 because you're against 4 while the other opponent is against 2. But still, if you want a strong Ogre Cap, you're typically going to be a little bit lower on stamina anyway as well. So it's kind of a balance there, but you don't need to overinvest. I've seen way too many people that have overinvested. It's just kind of an example. And I can actually showcase a race for that I saved off for anyone that kind of wants to see that. Just to give an example to kind of help out when it comes to building your team comps and trying to build a strong comp here. I actually saved the one that had 4 debuffers, so you can actually see exactly what happens. Now, this is actually a case where having that backup Seiyun Sky to be the sacrificed front, one of the things that I had a problem with is I had a sacrifice one that was not as strong as this one. And she would actually block my Sumamusume Zensky sometimes. So you want your backup. That's kind of another when it comes to, if you're doing a 2 front runner, don't make your sacrifice garbage. One, if your sacrifice is garbage, they're not going to push your other one forward. They're just going to fall behind the pace chasers. They're not going to be able to keep pace if they're weak. You need them to be able to keep pace. But since you need them to be able to keep pace, they also potentially can get in the first place, and so you need them to be strong as well, which is kind of what this will also show in that while she's not as strong as my Sumamusume Zensky, if she gets in the first place, she has the speed. I mean, it's Seiyun Sky. She has the stronger ult. She is got everything needed to carry the win as well. If your sacrifice frontrunner cannot also win, they're not good enough because you basically can block yourself with that sacrifice. And this is going to be a clear example of that. And this one, as I said, is a quad debuffer room. We have a nice nature here, 1200 wit. Let's see, another nice nature here. 1094 mystifying murmur there. We have a Mayano Top Gun. This one is a little bit weaker. This one's kind of an ace hybrid, but it does have mystifying murmur on her. I'm not sure if she popped off hers there. But we have this one as well, so they're both hybrids, but they both have mystifying murmur, and you're going to be able to see here that you can survive these, and that's what you're going to see. A lot of the strategy with Mayano Top Gun is that she's a hybrid. Nice Nature is the dedicated debuffer. Mayano Top Gun is going to be a hybrid debuffer for most people. I mean, it's a really weak strategy to go double debuffer because then you're relying on one ace to try and win. And so the Mayano Top Guns are going to be lower wit on average. So they're not going to be as good at getting it off. But you're going to see perfect example of what happens here. One, my Maruzensky late starts, which is kind of what gets my Seiyun Sky the win here. Now they're going to fight here like you typically have. Now you're going to see them going up. And as you see, if you have a strong sacrifice as you call it, they might be able to get in the front and hold it. Because Sumamusume Zensky can only get her so many lengths to catch up. Which is, mine's late start kind of killed her. So my Seiyun Sky is saving me here. You can see the skills going off here. Seiyun Sky popped her tail held high. She's fending off the ult nicely here with the tail held high. And as you can see, the opponent, Sumamusume Zensky, just isn't going to be able to catch her here. And you're going to see that I think we had already one of the mystifying murmurs pop off. She got angling off. She's going. I got my Ogre Cap who's taking off here. I think you can see her. Yeah, she's in 5th right there. There's the All-Seeing Eyes. I'm pretty sure one is already popped. So we've already had 2 hit. Remember, she only has 1 recovery, which was Swinging Maestro. She only had just under 900 stamina. You'll see her run out at the very, very end here. She ran out right at the end. So, I feel like do not over-prepare. I know if people have talked about you can deal with 4. They're not going to all pop them all off. So, and you just have to accept, okay, you get 4 and they all pop them off and you die and you lose 1. Okay, I mean, that's just RNG in the game. The one thing is you need your Uma to be strong enough to get in the, if you're a front runner especially, get in the front and hold the front. If you don't have the mid-leg skills, you're going to lose a lot. And that is what I've learned through testing a lot of my Umas there. So that's kind of that's kind of it there. I just kind of wanted to showcase that on the stamina side of things. But yeah, just kind of to summarize, your team comp does matter in the fact that you are taking up positions on the field based on what their strategy is. So depending on who you're more scared of, which I think pace chasers are going to be the strongest counter to front runners here, will depend on what your team makeup is going to be. And that is kind of why I have decided. Now, I will still be making videos. I'll probably make a build video for like Symbol Rudolph. I'll probably make a build video for Gold Ship and all that for anyone who wants to see that. Let me know in the comments if there's any specific Uma that you want to make, you want me to make a build video for, because I can. But I most likely will continue to, which I've seen the most success with, is the double front runner and pace chaser, because the only one that I'm really scared about the most are pace chasers with this combo. Every other combo made it where the entire field was open to winning. If I have an end closer and a late surger and a front runner, pace chasers can win, late surgers can win, and end closers can win more likely. With this combo, it's really only other pace chasers that are the biggest threat, and other front runners, of course, that can pass and be in the lead instead of mine. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on it, what your strategies you may be using. But yeah, if you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.